What's up, guys? We are back. Fitness Profit Multiplier here, Anthony and Jimmy. And today we have a jam-packed, profit-filled episode for you guys. And today we're going to be talking about, should you sell one-on-one? What are the pros, cons of selling one-on-one personal training? And if you are going to do it, how you actually should do it. One of the downsides to selling one-on-one is that it's not scalable. This is basically how I started my business, was just a one-on-one type of facility. So I wanted to go through and cover what you have to do if you are going to sell one-on-one. Should you? What percentage of your business it should be? But I got my co-host on here, Big Jimmy McCurry. What's up, big guy?
Morning. How are you doing?
Good, man. Good. So one-on-one, I'm excited to kind of go back to my roots and talk about how one-on-one is the thing.
Yeah, it was the only option for many of us in the beginning, right? You go to a Gold's Gym or a 24-hour fitness and you get a job as a trainer, and the only packages they have you sell are one-on-one training packages. And for some reason, as you sold more sessions, you gave the client a discount, right? You know, so they're like, oh, if you sell, 12 sessions, it's 70, but if you sell, 20 sessions at 60 and you sell 48 session packages for $56 an hour, right? And it's like, the model doesn't make the most sense, but those gyms, the main thing that they're experiencing is with you there, they're making an additional 50% of that take on the personal training. And without you there, they're making nothing. So it's just an additional profit center for them. So they don't really focus that much on the business model and making it something big, because they're like, if I have trainers, great, I pay them 50%. If I don't have trainers, I don't have that payroll, right? Whereas for us, it's a little bit different in the way that we want to structure things and how you can actually have a model that's scalable, but still benefit from one-on-one services in your facility. So I know we have about 10% or so of our revenue coming from private one-on-one training. And the other 90% comes from small group or semi-private training, with a little bit here and there of supplements and challenges and other little things, right? Nutrition coaching and that kind of stuff. But for the most part, it's a 90-10 split, 10% being one-on-one training.
Yeah. Let's start with the cons. So the cons of one-on-one. So here, I'm going to give my little background story. So I used to work in a Gold's Gym and whatever. I left the Gold's Gym, started my business in my garage, and I was training like an animal, 70, 80 hours a week of just getting people in and out, in and out. It was like a machine. It was like a factory. And one of my biggest fears was, oh my God, if I broke my leg, God forbid, what's going to happen? How am I going to train? And I always joked and said, I would just go in with crutches anyway, which is probably what I would have done. But it scared the life out of me, because I'm like, my business is so reliant on me doing this thing. And if I go down or I want to take a vacation, I'm not getting paid. And that was the one thing that drove me absolutely crazy, because I didn't have a business. I had a job. And that's the problem with most personal trainers, is they have a job. And I think nowadays, versus when me and you started with this, nowadays, a lot of the trainers will see that and they'll just say, okay, I'm going to be an online trainer and I'm going to sell programs. That's a whole nother rabbit hole that we can go down. But I definitely think that that's probably a better model, instead of going to a big box gym and being a trainer. But neither here nor there. That was the one thing that I was always afraid of. And the biggest con of one-on-one is the scalability. You only have the amount of hours that you're willing to dedicate to doing one-on-one in the day. And if a client cancels, even if you have all the procedures in place, you're still screwed. It's just the way it goes. So that is the one biggest con. And this is why you don't see one-on-one personal training franchises, because it's not scalable in that sense.
And for a time, Fitness Together was a popular franchise. Maybe you guys...
I don't even know what that is.
So Fitness Together is a popular franchise, at least on the West Coast. And that guy that started Iron Tribe was a Fitness Together guy first. Like, he had a bunch of Fitness Togethers. But that model died, right? It still operates here and there, but that's the only one-on-one model I've seen be marginally successful. And they basically take a very small square footage footprint, put a bunch of cubicle walls up and have it be like extra private personal training, right? But people don't even want that anymore. One of the cons of running a one-on-one only, and a lot of those locations are closing, by the way, so you're totally right in the model not being sustainable, because you have to charge a high premium. So a lot of people don't want to part with that much money for training, right? Sometimes it's hard enough to sell a $400 or $600 a month product. Imagine selling a $1,500 a month product, because somebody needs to get enough frequency on their one-on-one training side, right? But beside the point, they would set up this model like that, and it was very, very private personal training. Whereas when you look at it from a perspective of having this small group training model, you can pack these 6-7 people into a session, have them on recurrent billing. You don't have to worry about, the one-on-one where they don't show up for a session. Do I charge them? Do I not charge them? Like, are they going to stick with me if I don't or I do? With small group, it's much easier to just say, hey, you use it or lose it, right? With one-on-one, it's harder to do because that person has this air about them where they're paying this premium and they want to make sure they don't lose any sessions. And you can have that 24-hour window on those things, but you're also not scaling yourself up and scaling yourself out, because additionally, those clients are still rooted to you as the provider if you're the owner that's providing those sessions, and they really don't want to move to someone else. And it has nothing to do with how good of a trainer you are, by the way.
Yeah, nothing.
It has everything to do with their level of being comfortable with you and starting their fitness journey with you. Because I have clients that were one-on-one clients that I pawned off to my staff over time. And initially these clients are like, oh, I don't know. And then after a couple of weeks, they're like, oh, I love training with Billy. I love training with Bobby. Like, I actually like him better than you. Like, they'll even say that to me, right? And it's like, okay, great, because that's exactly what you want it to be like, right? Now, there are some pros to having some one-on-one in your program, but the cons kind of outweigh the pros a little bit. But
wait, let's continue down the cons before we go into the pros too.
Yeah.
So another con that I have too, for us anyway, and again, it depends on your schedule, is going to be, it's going to throw off your schedule and how your gym is run. Because if you have, let's say you do a large group, you have small group. I don't know how big somebody's facility is listening to this, but let's say you have another modality of fitness going on, whether it's small group or large group. And then you have a one-on-one who wants to come the same time as that window and that other training is going on. Well, now what's going to happen? You have to bring another trainer on, increases your payroll, and hopefully you have the space to service that other client while this client gets trained and the other modality is going on. So for us, we have a smaller facility, so we can't run a one-on-one and a small group at the same time. It just doesn't make sense. So for us, if we wanted to run one-on-one more, we'd have to have literally a separate section of the gym, hire another trainer, added payroll, and to service that one client. The juice is not worth the squeeze for us. So that's why we kind of taken it out of our program completely. We have some one-on-one still in there, but it's a very, very small percentage for that reason only. But again, like I said, if you're going to stack one-on-ones into your schedule, and there are some pros to it, which we'll cover, but then you have to remember, you're going to have the added cost of the payroll on there. So Is that added cost of payroll worth it? That's something that you might have to play with, because if it's not worth it, then you say, okay, if I just put this person into semi-private, I'm much more profitable and I don't have to increase my payroll. So it's worth it for me to put them into semi-private versus having them in one-on-one.
Yeah. And when you look at that same, and we can take that same notion and kind of flip it too, right? It all depends on your facility, your capacity, and your staffing, right? Now, we only have a couple of one-on-ones that are scheduled during our small groups, but we have natural gaps in the day, right? And those natural gaps can be filled with higher premium, higher paying clients to fill your trainer schedule so that they don't have this blocky, chunked up schedule throughout the day, right? So on the flip side, right, that capacity issue can be a pro or a con to fill a trainer schedule that you have. But if you book these one-on-ones over your small group sessions, then you have to have another trainer to train that client. And what happens when that client leaves? Then you have another
show
or doesn't show. Then your other trainer is, twiddling their thumbs in the office, or, taking care of some task that's not worth the amount of money that client is paying for. And you damn well better charge them for the session. And let's just put that out there right now, right? Charge them for the session.
That always goes like, that was always the whole rub. And I've done one-on-one for so many years in a big box gym privately. And the whole rub with that is the client gets pissed. No matter how many rules you have in place, no matter how many times they sign that on a contract, they still get pissed, because no matter what, they're always right. And they're going to tell you, but I never cancel. Why did I lose that session? They don't understand or care about your time, and they don't care how your time is valued. So that was another major problem. I hated that people kind of disrespected my time in a way. And I get it. I totally understand, but they will never look at it from your side ever.
Right. So they're still going to get pissed about it. But some of the pros that you can look at, as long as we're done beating up the cons of that, Anthony.
Yeah, we are.
Cool. So some of the pros that you want to look at with one-on-one training is, for us, we add another 10% to our top line revenue from having one-on-one training, right? You get a lot of revenue really quickly when you sign up a couple of one-on-one clients. So especially if you're a new business and you're the only one providing service and you have some downtime and you have the opportunity to bring a one-on-one client on, like you're doing 10, 15K a month, it may be a great option for you to take on some one-on-one clients that come through your door, because you can always give them to a new trainer at a certain point and move their schedule around a little bit. But it's a great revenue bump, especially in the beginning, to give you that free cash flow that you can use to continue to grow your business. So that's one of the big benefits there, right? The other benefit we already talked about, which is filling your trainer's schedule up, right? So you bring on a couple of one-on-ones to fill your trainer's dead times. Like for us, it's like 8 a.m. is a dead time. 10:30 a.m. is a dead time, right? And then after our noon session, so like 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock is a dead time. And then my other trainer, evening coach, has dead time at 1, 2, and 3 o'clock. He's stacked with one-on-one clients right now there. My morning coach is stacked with one-on-one clients in his gap times. But you just have to know that you have to respect that schedule and go, okay, if I'm going to sign up a one-on-one client, they have to come in at this time and only this time, right? And if they can't swing that, then push them into the small group, because you know it's just as valuable, right? But it gives people a premium option to push, and it gives your coaches a schedule where they're really earning their keep by making more money per hour for what you're paying them, as opposed to sitting on the computer and doing some admin work during that time. You'd much rather have them coaching a client, right?
Yeah. So let's talk about the A/B model, and basically, if you are going to do one-on-one, how you actually should do it. And Jimmy covered the smartest way to go about it is to basically fill those gaps. If somebody wants one-on-one in your facility, they come to you and they're adamant about having one-on-one and they're okay about the price, which we'll cover in a second. You have to have scheduled times for it. Okay, these are the times we offer one-on-one. 8 o'clock, I'm going with Jimmy's time. 8 o'clock, 10:30, 11, 11:30, blah, 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 blah. These are the times that we offer it. So if this works with your schedule, Mrs. Jones, then we can definitely do one-on-one. So that's the first thing, is you have to have it around. And like Jimmy said, most gyms will fall to the wayside with this one, because what they'll do is they'll pay the trainer more for servicing a one-on-one client, and because it's more revenue. Do not do that. Keep your trainers paid the same and have them utilize and fill their gaps. Give them more hours in that dead time. So maybe your morning person goes from working 6 to 10. Now they go 6 to 2, and you just fill all those gaps with one-on-ones. You'll be way more profitable. The trainer will make more money because now they're working more hours, and they'll be happy as well. So the way to do it, the best way that I found to do one-on-one training where it's a little more affordable for the client and it's a lot easier on you is to do it this way. So I would definitely recommend 30-minute sessions. 30-minute sessions for one-on-one are ideal. If you're going to sit here and argue with me about, oh, it's not enough time, this and that, make it work because your pocket will love it. So do 30-minute one-on-one sessions. Go to the big box gym, like the most expensive one, like we have Equinox out here. They charge $150, I think, or $170 for an hour of personal training. So go find the big box gym, figure out what they're charging, cut that in half, and that's basically what you should be charging. So I was getting anywhere between 60 to 75 for the half-hour session, and it became way worth it for me because if I paid my trainer 25 and I'm charging 75, that 50 is going right into the gym. So that's the best way to go about doing it. So if you are going to do one-on-one, and I think it should be part of your program. Again, it just depends on how your gym is structured, but that's the best way to do it. Half-hour sessions, stack them back to back, fill them on the outsides of the times, and you could be good to go. And you could even also make a hybrid membership where somebody gets maybe twice a week one-on-one, and then they get, 3 times a week or whatever it is, a small group or large group. So this way they kind of get the best of both worlds, and you could charge them more for that as well. So there's so many ways to add one-on-one in there. But again, it depends on your model and depends on the square footage and how you run things. But I would never, ever, ever, ever hire another trainer, add on payroll just to stack one-on-ones with that. It doesn't make sense.
No,
it doesn't make sense.
Fill your time that you have with the coaches that you have on staff, because they're likely not coaching enough hours for what they would like to be doing. They would like to be coaching more people. That's what they're there to do. And it's funny you mentioned adding one-on-one onto a small group membership, because the other day we were actually just going over a promotion that we did a couple years ago where we just offered our clients to stack 1 half-hour one-on-one per week onto their existing membership. And we had a ton of people take us up on it. And it just filled our trainers' schedules, right? It allowed our trainers to get more coaching hours and all this kind of stuff. And we built our revenue up pretty well. It takes a client that's, maybe on, paying $400 a month, and then you add another $250 onto that. It's a pretty good deal, and they're getting great service for it. So it's kind of funny that you mentioned that. But I have to say the half hour is the way to go on one-on-one. The half hour it's beautiful. It's like you get them in, you get them going, you get them out. And the key that Anthony's talking about is the pricing structure of it. Personally, the way that we do it is if our full hour is priced at a certain rate, our half hour is priced at like 60% of that rate, right? So it's half the time, but it's 60% of the money. So it's like, okay, if they bought 2 half hours in a row, it'd be like $120. But if they just bought full hour one-on-ones, it'd be $100, because you can get more out of that half hour in terms of revenue. And people don't see it as different, right? They're like, oh, okay. But you need to talk them into the half hour being something that they can actually get good results with. Because some people will say, oh, well, a half hour. But you can get a lot. And even if you don't believe you can get a lot of work done in the half hour with your client, you're not going to. So you have to believe as the coach and the owner and the trainer that you can kick somebody's butt and get them the results they need in half an hour. Once you believe that, then you're going to start selling half hour one-on-ones, and half hour one-on-ones are great. You can really easily move them around the schedule and get your trainers full.
Yeah. I mean, that was, we beat that one up pretty good. So if you guys are going to add one-on-one into your schedule, into your program, this is exactly how to do it. Keep in mind those cons that we talked about, but if it makes sense for you to add it on and make some more money and profit, go ahead and do that. But guys, if you click that link below, you can book your free discovery call with us where we'll hop on the phone with you, diagnose your issues that you got going on in your gym, and figure out a way to help you fix that. So if you're interested in that, just click below. Until next time, Anthony and Jimmy, and we're out.